What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here. Time for another episode on the Dirt Glide on Plan B over here. Okay, last time we left off with this thing, we just put some of that suspension on it from Traction Dynamics with a claimed 7 inches of travel up front. And I'll tell you, just riding around the block felt pretty damn good. I've got a few other things to do to the bike right now, not the least of which is put mid controls on it, because it's kind of hard to test out how your suspension's doing if you can't stand up on the pegs. I mean, it felt great. It definitely felt great, but I definitely need to see how that feels when I'm standing up on the pegs. And with forward controls on a Sportster, I mean, you can stand up, but not exactly confidence inspiring. There's a lot of different ways to convert it over to mid controls. You can just find a crusty old set. You can go on eBay, but honestly, bang for the buck, the easiest way to convert it back to mid controls is TC Bros. They sell a really simple, really easy mid control kit for 2003 and earlier Sportsters. I think they sell them for a few other motorcycles as well, like a Dyna 03 and later Sportsters, but it's easy, it's simple, it's tough. I've used it before, and we're about to slap a set on this motorcycle right here. It's a pretty simple kit. Comes with simple instructions. They don't need to be complicated instructions, because trust me, this is probably one of the easiest things we're going to end up doing to this motorcycle. Literally, you just with like a regular set of Craftsman hand tools that you have around your house, I'm pretty sure you could get this job done. The only thing I didn't do is I do sell a kit with pegs and shifter pegs and everything like that, but for right now I'm just going to reuse those pegs, but eventually I'm going to do some MX pegs on there because this is going to be an off-road build. So I just got the set that came without pegs, and nice if you want to do your own pegs. It's kind of cool that they do offer a cheaper option without pegs. I like that, because some places don't. They're just like, hey, you're getting the pegs no matter what, but they offer it with and without, which I think is pretty cool. First part of this is pretty easy. Just get rid of what's already there. So not really the greatest sign when you haven't loosened anything at all, and this is already loose. Well, there's probably a way to do that without scratching the primary, but you know, this is going to be an off-road machine. I'm not that worried about it. Oh no! I killed the battery! Damn it! Looks like somebody, Shelby, obviously Shelby and not me, somebody should have charged it last time. Obviously Shelby. For my hubris, I am once again relegated to hand tools. Well, and the next few steps go exactly how you would expect them to. Really, really easily. So right down here is exactly where the stock foot mount would go, so the TC Bros bolts right up there. Comes with the new longer bolts. Easy as pie. Going back to this acoustic ratchet after Shelby's nice one, it's just freaking painful. Boom, there we go. Easy as pie. Minus I don't have a toe shifter for this, so I've essentially just made my motorcycle from rideable into unrideable, because oh wait, no, this one comes off. I can use this. Not even to bother putting thread locker on it, because I already know that this is not the one that's going to be on here permanently. Alright y'all, it's a completely different day after getting just one side of the forward controls on the Sportster completed. And I only got one side done, not because I ran out of talent, not because the parts were wrong, not because it was hard, but because when I went to go do this side, I realized that I'm doing a chain conversion. I'm doing a different rear wheel. I'm doing a different plate here because this is a weak point when you start standing up on pegs. This can break right here. I'm planning on trimming this cam cover, just for looks, just because I like the way it looks with a trimmed cam cover. Like, there's a bunch of stuff I'm planning on doing on this side, and it was stupid just to put the mid control on this side without doing any of the other stuff, because I'd basically have to put it on, and then once I started doing all that other stuff, I'd have to take it right back off. So today's job, or this video's job on a different day, just got a whole lot more involved than just slapping mid controls on this. So let's keep on trucking. Now, since I am changing out the rear calipers as well, I'm going to be changing out the brake fluid too. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off this line and just remove the rear master entirely. Ooh, something tells me that's going to take a breaker bar. Let's introduce a little bit of leverage to the situation. There we go. I think I just made a silly mistake because I'm remembering when we did Shay Lisi's mid controls on the Green Goblin, I think there's a nut behind this. So I think if I just take this cover off, this whole assembly comes with it. And sometimes these micro wrenches really do come in handy. Some of these 90s and 2000 Harleys, just this mix of metric and standard parts is really annoying. Definitely a good investment. Don't use it all the time, but man, when I need these little tiny wrenches, they really come in handy. Yes, this exhaust is obviously eventually going, but as of right now, they're still like testing and tuning and everything I want to do with the motorcycle running, and I don't have an exhaust for it yet, so I really don't want to pull it off just yet. Rather than break something or risk breaking a head bolt off in here, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this muffler and be safe. Come on, you some bitch. Well, boys, a whole bunch of hammering later, this pipe ain't coming off, so I've decided, even though I did want to run it in between now and when it's ready, because I don't have my exhaust yet, I'm literally like sweating and it's the middle of winter. Of course, it's just not that crazy in Florida, but I've literally decided, you know what? It's just easier before I break something, like I break a head bolt, it's easier just to pull this whole freaking exhaust off. I'm not fighting this anymore. Sometimes you just gotta know when to throw in the towel. I will tell you guys, that has been a long, hard lesson for me to learn. I didn't learn that one overnight, all right? At least these guys are coming out easy. Probably because I've just been banging on everything. All right, this sucker should be loose now. There we go. Yet a further lesson in the many lessons that I have received in just take the part off that's in your way. I always just waste an insane amount of time trying to get around stuff when, holy crap, literally like 6 bolts hold the exhaust on. That was so easy. I should have just taken it off in the first place, and I wasted like 45 minutes trying to get around it and then trying to get one muffler off. Just take it off. Oh, wow. Look at that. A lot easier, huh? Holy crap, I waste a lot of time. Well, since I know this pulley's coming off because I'm doing a chain conversion, I know all the rest of this stuff has to come off, including the rear wheel. Different shocks are going on it, so I might as well just start mocking all this stuff up. So I'm just gonna start wholesale just pulling stuff off of this because almost none of it's going back on. Oh, I was like, what the heck's holding this on? It's actually bolted on the shock bolt. Oh, I mean, the shocks are coming off anyway, so might as well jack it up and pull them off too. Get on out of here. There we go. Alright, even though I'm not going to reuse these spacers, the easiest thing I always do with spacers is just put them right on the axle on the sides they came off of so you don't forget. Boy, this is always a trick. There we go. Alright, well there's a couple other things I can do back here while I got the tire off and before I put my nice new shocks on. One of which is I've got this nice new Brembo caliper to go on here. There's only one thing that has to be done. This is the old caliper. And for a certain number of years, Harley Davidson did this weird thing with Sportsters where they put this bar on here instead of letting it ride on the actual swing arm. I don't know if that was supposed to be better or not, but nobody makes, when you want to do upgraded brakes, nobody makes it for this bar. So anytime you get a Sportster, I think it's like 2000 to 2003, you just got to grind this off. And you know, it always feels a little bit weird taking a grinding or a cutting wheel to a bike, but hey, you know, it ain't a build until there's some hipster sparks, right? Let's get this up out of the way. Obviously, I'm going to clean the brakes, but metal shavings, I think, still not something you really want to introduce there. Oh, baby, you know I'm a wanted man.
Just a man and his machine, and a grinder making pretty sparks, because a man and his machine aren't really a man or a machine until he has some generic blues playing and some sparks flying. That way he knows he's a man, and that's a machine. Hell yeah.
You know, I try not to be a man of too many luxuries, but 2 grinders is a luxury I enjoy very much. So one's always got a flap wheel on it, one's got a cutting wheel on it. Makes life a lot easier. Well, cool. That works out just fine. All I have is a camouflage flavor Rust-Oleum right now, but hey, it'll camouflage this spot, right? Well, this is a budget build, so it's come time to put the rear shocks on it, or at least mock them up, and I'll tell you guys, I went ahead and I cheaped out on the rear shocks. I was going to get something nicer, I was going to have shocks built by Racetech, but having shocks built by Racetech, that cost about $800. And these Burley brand stilettos, they were just under 300 bucks. So when it comes, I mean, you guys know me, I'm a big guy. Suspension is always number one with me. But again, I'm trying to keep the entire cost of building this bike under a couple $1,000s. So half of that would be in shocks, in rear shocks alone. So I had to go ahead and go kind of the cheaper route and try out the stilettos. I haven't heard great things about them, but a lot of people use them. So I haven't heard that they're the absolutely worst thing that's ever worked. I just haven't heard anybody say they're absolutely amazing either. But you guys know that I will be completely honest with y'all when I come back with my full review on my big fat 300-pound ass riding around on these 15-inch Burley stilettos. So I'll let you guys know how they perform with me on the bike, and maybe I just made a mistake and maybe I'm just gonna end up having to spend the money on custom shocks anyway. But we're gonna give these a whirl because this is what most people would use. So you guys right now, that is a whole hell of a lot higher, that's for sure. From talking to some other guys who run these, I know I'm gonna have my work cut out for me figuring out how to deal with chain slap. So you know, a lot of guys run like a primary shoe up here, or else you'll just beat the swing arm to death with your chain. Okay, next up, while I got this all apart, we got to go ahead and take off this pulley right here and replace it with a sprocket. As you guys know, this is going to be ADV build, so normally I'd rather just run a belt, even in a high horsepower motor. A lot of those S&S belts, they claim they can get up, they're fine up to like 200 horsepower. I prefer a belt. It is actually way more, if you've ever ridden with a belt versus a chain, a belt is just way more comfortable to ride around on. But when you're going off-road, whether it can handle the horsepower without snapping or not, the rocks ain't gonna be kind to it. Just judging from this, gonna go ahead and preemptively hit this with some PB Blaster. It looks pretty rusty in here. Now these are holding the retaining ring, which is this thing right here. And that obviously retains this big old freaking nut right there, and that is reverse thread. I want to remind you guys, I've never actually done this before, so if you're going like, oh man, this guy knows what he's doing, well, anybody who knows what they're doing is probably looking at me doing this and going, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. But if it looks that way and you're like, oh man, I couldn't do this because I've never done it before, trust me, I've never done this before either, guys. All it really takes is jumping in feet first and not looking before you leap, because if you look before you leap, you might see something scary, and then you won't jump at all. There we go. Positive I'm gonna need an impact to take that off, and I'm gonna have to raid Shelby's toolbox to find a nut big enough, because I'm positive I don't have one that big. Well, minor snag. That big old nut right there is 1 7/8 according to the internet, and if the internet is right, I don't have a socket here big enough, neither does Shelby, so hopefully I can make it to Harbor Freight and pick up a 1 7/8 impact before they close. See you guys in a sec, or if I don't make it there before they close, see you all another day. Well, it's not the next day, it's the same day. Unfortunately, this is also where I'm gonna stop working on the Sportster, because I went to Harbor Freight, but the only 1 7/8 nut that they had available was part of a $100 set of something to work on heavy trucks that was a 1-inch drive. I'm never gonna use anything that has a 1-inch drive, so I'm not buying a special ratchet or a breaker bar just to buy that socket set that was $100. So I'm just gonna go ahead and order a regular 1/2-inch drive, 1 7/8 nut off of Amazon. Comes in Amazon one day, so it'll be here tomorrow. We can pick this thing back up then, but oh well, I still have stuff I can do. As you guys know, if you've been watching and keeping up with all the videos, you'll know that Cammy and I are planning a Terminator photo shoot. That's where Cammy's gonna dress up as a Terminator. That's why she's riding around that fat boy right now, and part of doing a Terminator photo shoot is Terminator guns. So I ordered some. This is the first time I've ever worked with anything like this. I ordered some like 3D printed prop guns off of Etsy. So I got the pistol and the shotgun, and you know, they come disassembled. You have to assemble them yourself. They also, you guys who are familiar with 3D prints will probably know about all these striations that are all over them, but you have to paint them yourselves pretty much. And also, I mean, you could just paint them, but then they've got these lines all over them. It's not really going to look very good. So I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've sanded and buffed plenty of aluminum and metal before, so plastic should be easier than that, right? Well, only one way to find out. We're going from building a Sportster to building models here on the Nerd Tree Surgeon channel. Let's see what we can fuck up. Well, I'm not that worried about messing it up because this whole model that this is the shotgun from T2. Or that's what it's supposed to look like. I mean, I don't know if it's actually true to scale. I don't think it is. It looks a little bit smaller than the real shotgun would have been, but that's okay. Cammy's a little smaller than Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I think it'll work out just fine. It was also only like 20 bucks, so I'm not that worried if I mess it up right now. This is definitely a learning experience for me, as I've never worked with any kind of 3D printed material before. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and tape it off. I got some spray paint from Wally World. I thought I was gonna be able to get model paint. You know, I used to build models when I was a kid, like model airplanes and stuff, and you always could buy all the model stuff, including model paint, at Walmart, but I guess kids don't build models anymore. Well, or if they do build them, they ain't building them frequently enough to have the stuff at Walmart to build them. So I just got spray paint. We'll see how this works. All right, it's the next day. I've got the part I need. It's time to dive back into old dirty bastard, the Sportster project. What's up?
Hi.
Are you here to help me?
No.
Oh.
I need something.
When she asked for help like that, holy crap, she got him on deck, baby. All right, she's ready. She's ready and armed with. Whoa, those are metric, okay? This is a standard motorcycle. Nobody knows, but it's erotic. A damsel in distress. I guess the Sportster can wait for another day when you ask like that.
Thank you.
Oh man, look at that, baby.
You didn't feed me today.
Did you grow that yourself or what?
Yes.
Come on, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cam, build a bike. Your very first bike build. I love it. She asked me for help, but here's the thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and supervise. You didn't specify what kind of help. Aerial rider, e-bike. I have no idea what it's gonna look like in there. Actually, I should probably help you. Oh, never mind. All right, tough girl. Damn. Dude, she got it. Oh my gosh. She-Hulk over here. What, did I speak too soon?
If you're
some tacos?
Hungry right now, yeah, I can Uber eat some stuff.
Will you please get me tacos?
Your wish is my command. As you wish. Oh my gosh, I got myself. Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
told you. That's right, bitch.
Right.
Give me some tacos, bitch.
There's nothing I love more in the world than a spoiled, rotten brat.
No, I'm not. I can be.
The wheels are freaking huge. Hell yeah, dude. Get her done, baby. All right, back at it again on yet another day with the proper tool and without Cammy Bay here as a distraction. I mean, trust me, it's a very fun distraction, but we've got a Sportster to build. We got a Dirtster to build. We got to get back to old dirty bastard. And if it seems like Adam Sandoval is absolutely beating the socks off me right now on this build, it's because I don't think he has as many distractions as I do, all right? And I'm very easily distractible. So let's finally get this freaking pulley off. Well, the sucker has been soaking in PB Blaster for a couple days, so hopefully it comes right off. Hell yeah, baby. Now we'll see how easy the rest of it comes. Oh, it comes right off. Very cool. I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be like stuck on there so bad. No, it came right off. Cool. Boom. And now, hey, this is actually pretty damn easy, he says, as this one, come on. There we go. Okay, let me say it again. This is actually pretty damn easy. 50 foot-pounds, and then however much farther you gotta go to get this lock plate on. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that that lock plate's gonna want some Loctite too. Okay, now that we got this sprocket on, we gotta get the chain mocked up, which means I need to get my rear wheel ready. I'm not gonna put the tire on it yet because getting everything mocked up, it'll be a lot easier to move around just a rim than it is a rim and a big old heavy ADV tire. As always, new rotor hardware because the old ones I believe are torqued to yield. And as always, let me look up the torque spec on this because I literally always forget. All right, and let's flip it over and get my new pull. One of my pulley, no longer a pulley, and we gotta get our sprocket on. And once again, let's look up the torque spec. 50 foot-pounds. The reason why you always go back all over again is because these things are always set on there exactly. So sometimes when you torque down one side, you always want to go back and check again because it might have loosened up somewhere else. Well, the wheel I got from TC Bros came with spacers. I imagine since it came with spacers, the spacers I took off that I stuck on here are probably not going to work, but I'm just going to start with the spacers I have just to see, and we'll go from there. There are some things that are easier with two people, and fitting a rear wheel is definitely one of them. Oh, so much harder than it should have been. And definitely not the right spacers, which I figured. I figured it was not going to be the correct spacing. Looks like I am actually going to need these bigger ones. So that was kind of for nothing, but at least I know. I wanted to try it with those first before I just started randomly throwing spacers on it. All right, well, here's the real reason we want to mock it up. And even though I can already tell I'm going to need a larger spacer, I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to see which way I need to go with the wheel. So I'm going to put the chain on there to see if I need to go right or left. And it looks like I'm going to have to put the larger spacer on this side, not on the other side, but we're just making sure first. Last thing we want is a cockeyed chain. That's not going to do me any favors. Obviously this chain is not going to be anywhere near the correct size just as it comes, but we can see if we're going straight or not. Definitely gonna need a chain slider here, that is for sure, but it looks like, yeah, we're gonna have to put it on this side like I thought. From here, things are pretty simple, especially if you're using a TC Bros kit because it uses a clip type master link. Camera battery is fading fast. Surprising no one, it looks like I might have actually managed to lose my clip. Batting 1,000 right now. All right, well, that's gonna about call it quits for the Dirtster today. We got our chain installed, we got our wheel mocked up, we got our brakes mocked up. You know, it might not look like a whole hell of a lot happened, but I'm feeling pretty good about what we got done today. I got a lot done. Now that I got this mocked up and I know it's gonna work right. Next, when I have time, I gotta run right now. I'm gonna take that back off, get the tire mounted, get the brakes all mounted up, and hopefully we'll be riding it again here pretty soon. And now that I've got all the shocks on it, it's just about to actually getting much closer to actually testing it for real off-road for the very first time. But for right now, make sure you go check out Adam Sandoval. He's also building a Dirt Sportster Dual Sport ADV, old dirty bastard just like I am. And we're, like I said, we're in a race, but pretty sure he's gonna win that one. Anyway, till next time, y'all, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, do all that kind of stuff if you want to see stuff like this anyway. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together.